Beyond the screen, unmasking the algorithms that rule our lives right now. As you watch this video, an invisible force is making decisions about your life. It's deciding what you'll see next, what you'll buy tomorrow, who you might date, and even whether you'll get that job interview. You can't see it, you can't touch it, but it's watching your every move, learning your deepest desires, and quietly pulling the strings of your reality. What if I told you that this isn't science fiction? What if I told you that right now, thousands of algorithms are analyzing your behavior, predicting your choices, and shaping your future in ways you never imagined? Welcome to the age of algorithmic control, and you might not even realize you're living in it. And today, we're going beyond the screen to unmask the invisible puppet masters that have quietly taken control of nearly every aspect of our modern lives. What we discover might change how you see the digital world forever. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how deep this rabbit hole goes. And trust me, you'll never look at your phone the same way again. The invisible watchers. Picture this. It's 7 a.m. Your alarm goes off. But did you choose that wake-up time? Or did your sleep tracking algorithm suggest it based on your REM cycles? You check your phone. The first thing you see isn't random. It's precisely curated by an algorithm that knows you better than you know yourself. You scroll through social media. Every post, every video, every advertisement has been selected by artificial intelligence that has analyzed millions of data points about you. Your browsing history, your location data, how long you pause on certain images, even the micro expressions your phone's camera might detect when you're looking at the screen. But here's what's truly unsettling. You think you're making choices. You think you decided to watch that video, buy that product, click on that article. But what if I told you that every single one of those choices was predicted, influenced, and guided by algorithms designed to make you act in exactly the way you did? Let's talk numbers. Every day, Google processes over 8.5 billion searches. Facebook's algorithm sifts through trillions of posts to decide what 2.9 billion users will see. Amazon's recommendation engine influences 35% of their total sales. That's over $160 billion in purchases guided by algorithmic suggestion. But these are just the visible algorithms. Behind the scenes, there's an entire ecosystem of invisible watchers. Credit algorithms deciding your financial fate. Dating algorithms determining who you'll meet. Insurance algorithms calculating your risk profile. Employment algorithms screening your resume before human eyes ever see it. Even traffic light algorithms controlling how you move through your city. We're not just using technology anymore. Technology is using us. And the most sophisticated manipulation techniques ever devised are being deployed not by governments or traditional media, but by companies whose algorithms know us more intimately than our closest friends. But how did we get here? How did we sleepwalk into a world where algorithms have become the invisible rulers of our reality? The birth of the machine mind. It started innocently enough. In the early 2000s, Google introduced PageRank, an algorithm designed to organize the world's information. Simple, helpful, revolutionary. But then something changed around 2006. Social media platforms discovered something powerful. The longer people stayed on their platforms, the more money they made. This simple economic reality would reshape human civilization in ways no one anticipated. Enter the engagement algorithm. These weren't just tools to organize information anymore. They were sophisticated behavioral modification systems designed with one goal: to capture and hold human attention at any cost. The companies didn't just want to show you content. They wanted to create psychological dependency. They hired neuroscientists, behavioral psychologists, and addiction specialists, not to help users, but to make their platforms irresistible. What followed was the largest uncontrolled psychological experiment in human history. Billions of people became unwitting test subjects in a real-time study of behavioral manipulation. The lab, your smartphone. The researchers. Algorithms that never sleep, never stop learning, never stop optimizing their ability to influence your behavior. But these algorithms didn't stay contained to social media. They began to spread like a digital virus, infecting every corner of our connected world. E-commerce sites borrowed the engagement techniques. News platforms adopted the addiction models. Dating apps gamified human connection. Even our cars and homes became nodes in the algorithmic network. And here's the most disturbing part. It worked better than anyone imagined. The algorithms didn't just capture our attention, they began to reshape our thoughts, our desires, our very perception of reality. But if you think this is just about advertising and engagement, you're only seeing the tip of the iceberg. The real story goes much, much deeper. The puppet strings of perception. What if I told you that algorithms aren't just showing you different content? They're creating entirely different realities for different people. What you see when you search for information about politics, health, climate change, or any controversial topic is fundamentally different from what your neighbor sees. This isn't an accident. It's by design. Algorithms have discovered that people engage more with content that confirms their existing beliefs. So they create what researchers call filter bubbles, personalized information ecosystems where each person lives in their own curated version of reality. But it goes deeper than just showing you what you want to see. These systems are actively shaping what you believe by controlling the sequence and context of information. They know that the order in which you see information dramatically affects how you process it. They know that showing you certain types of content at certain times of day makes you more susceptible to influence. Consider this unsettling reality. Major tech companies can predict your behavior with frightening accuracy. They know you're likely to make a major purchase before you do. They know you're becoming depressed before your family notices. They know you're considering changing jobs before you've consciously made that decision. And once they can predict your behavior, the next step is obvious: controlling it. Not through force, but through subtle manipulation of your information environment. A strategically placed ad here, a mood-shifting video there, a friend's post timed for maximum impact. This isn't theoretical. We've seen algorithms influence elections by controlling which political content people see. We've seen them affect mental health by promoting content that generates strong emotional reactions. We've seen them shape buying decisions by creating artificial urgency and social pressure. But here's the question that should keep you awake at night. If algorithms can predict and influence your behavior so effectively, how many of your recent decisions were actually your own? How many of your opinions, your purchases, your relationships, your choices have been subtly guided by invisible algorithmic puppeteers? Think about your last week. What videos did you watch? What news stories did you read? What products did you consider buying? What emotions did you feel while scrolling through your feeds? Now ask yourself, how much of that was organic human choice? And how much was algorithmic manipulation designed to keep you engaged, clicking, buying, and coming back for more? And the financial incentives behind this manipulation. They're more staggering than you might imagine. The trillion-dollar attention economy. Here's a number that should terrify you. Your personal data and attention are worth approximately $2,000 to $5,000 per year to the companies that harvest them. Multiply that by billions of users, and you're looking at a multi-trillion-dollar industry built on the commodification of human consciousness. But here's the twisted part. You're not the customer. You're the product. The real customers are advertisers, political campaigns, and anyone else willing to pay for access to your mind. The algorithms aren't designed to serve your interests. They're designed to make you more valuable as a product to be sold. Every feature of these platforms is optimized for one thing: extracting maximum value from your attention. The infinite scroll that makes it impossible to find a natural stopping point. The notification systems that create artificial urgency. The variable reward schedules that activate the same brain pathways as gambling addiction. These aren't bugs in the system. They're carefully designed features. Tech companies employ teams of designers whose job is to create dark patterns. Interface elements specifically designed to trick you into spending more time and sharing more data than you intended. But what's the real cost to you? Studies show that the average person checks their phone 96 times per day. That's once every 10 minutes during waking hours. Each interruption fragments your attention, reduces your ability to focus, and diminishes your mental well-being. Think about it. Your ability to focus, to think deeply, to form your own opinions. These are being systematically eroded by algorithms designed to capture and monetize your attention. You're not just losing time. You're losing your capacity for independent thought and the societal impact. Algorithms have contributed to the polarization of public discourse, the spread of misinformation, and the breakdown of shared reality. When everyone lives in their own algorithmic bubble, democratic dialogue becomes nearly impossible. Former tech executives have admitted that these platforms were deliberately designed to be addictive. They've compared their own products to digital cocaine. Some refuse to let their own children use the platforms they created. So, here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not just a user of these platforms. You're an unwilling participant in a behavioral modification experiment designed to extract maximum profit from your psychology, often at the expense of your well-being, your autonomy, and your ability to think for yourself. But if you think this is as dark as it gets, you're wrong. Because the algorithms are learning, evolving, and becoming more sophisticated every day. the evolution of control? Here's what should truly frighten you. These algorithms aren't static. They're powered by artificial intelligence that learns and adapts in real time. Every click, every pause, every scroll teaches them more about how to manipulate human behavior more effectively. Right now, algorithms are collecting data about you that you didn't even know existed. Your typing rhythm can identify you as uniquely as a fingerprint. The way you move your mouse reveals your emotional state. The micro-pauses in your speech patterns when you leave voice messages indicate your stress levels. Advanced AI systems can now predict aspects of your personality, your political beliefs, your sexual orientation, and your mental health status just from your digital footprints. They can often make these predictions more accurately than your close friends or family members. But prediction is just the beginning. The next generation of algorithms doesn't just predict your behavior, they actively shape it. They're becoming sophisticated enough to conduct personalized psychological interventions designed to change your attitudes, beliefs, and actions. Imagine an algorithm that can detect your emotional state in real time through your browsing patterns. Then immediately adjust the content you see to exploit your current psychological vulnerability. That's not science fiction. That's today's reality. And these systems aren't confined to individual platforms. Data brokers aggregate information about you from hundreds of sources, creating detailed psychological profiles that are shared across the entire digital advertising ecosystem. Your smart TV, your fitness tracker, your car's GPS, your credit card purchases, all feeding the algorithmic beast. We're already seeing algorithms that can induce specific behaviors with frightening precision. They can make you more likely to buy certain products, vote for certain candidates, or even feel certain emotions. And they're getting more sophisticated every day. Perhaps most concerning is the impact on young people who have never known a world without algorithmic curation. Their reality has been shaped by these systems from birth. Their social relationships, their self-image, their worldview, all filtered through algorithmic manipulation designed to maximize engagement and profit. And we're approaching a convergence point where multiple algorithmic systems, social media, search engines, shopping platforms, news feeds, entertainment recommendations will work together to create a seamlessly manipulated environment that's virtually impossible to escape. We're sleepwalking toward a world where algorithms don't just influence our choices, they define the range of choices available to us, where our thoughts, our relationships, our opportunities, our very sense of self are all shaped by invisible systems optimized for profit rather than human flourishing. But here's the crucial question: is this inevitable? Or is there still time to reclaim our cognitive freedom? The resistance awakens. The good news is that awareness is the first step toward freedom. Once you understand how these systems work, you can begin to resist their influence. Once you see the puppet strings, you can choose not to dance. Understanding algorithmic manipulation is like developing immunity to a virus. The more you know about how these systems operate, the less power they have over you. Every technique I've revealed in this video becomes a tool for your liberation. Start with simple acts of rebellion. Use private browsing modes. Clear your cookies regularly. Use ad blockers. Choose chronological feeds over algorithmic ones when possible. Diversify your information sources. Take regular digital detoxes. Train your mind to recognize manipulation attempts. When you feel a sudden urge to buy something, pause and ask, where did this desire come from? When you find yourself emotionally charged by content, ask, who benefits from my emotional reaction? Support platforms and services that prioritize user agency over engagement optimization. Choose tools that make their algorithms transparent. Pay for services that don't rely on surveillance capitalism. Vote with your wallet and your data. Governments around the world are beginning to wake up to the threat of algorithmic manipulation. New regulations are requiring algorithmic transparency, data portability, and user control. But change is slow, and we can't wait for others to protect us. Individual resistance is important, but collective action is crucial. Talk to your friends and family about these issues. Share what you've learned. Support organizations fighting for digital rights. Demand transparency from the platforms you use. We need to teach digital literacy as urgently as we once taught traditional literacy. Children should learn about algorithmic manipulation in school. Adults should understand how their data is used and how their behavior is influenced. Consider the economic power you have. Every time you interact with a manipulative platform, you're funding the system. Every time you click on algorithmic recommendations, you're training the machine. Your attention is valuable. Spend it intentionally. Develop mindful technology use. Before opening an app, ask yourself, what do I hope to accomplish? Set specific goals and time limits. Notice when you're mindlessly scrolling versus purposefully engaging. Create real-world communities that don't depend on algorithmic mediation. Join clubs, attend events, have face-to-face conversations. Remember what human connection feels like without the filter of engagement-optimized algorithms. The future isn't predetermined. We can choose to build technology that serves human flourishing, rather than exploiting human psychology. We can demand systems that enhance our agency rather than diminishing it. The choice is yours. We stand at a crossroads. Down one path lies a future where algorithms become increasingly sophisticated at predicting and controlling human behavior, where our choices become increasingly illusory, where our very thoughts are commodified and manipulated for profit. Down the other path lies a future where we harness the power of algorithms while preserving human agency, where technology amplifies our capabilities without compromising our autonomy, where we remain the authors of our own stories. The choice is yours, but it's a choice you have to make consciously, deliberately, and repeatedly. Every time you pick up your phone, every time you open an app, every time you engage with algorithmic content, you're casting a vote for the future you want to live in. Starting right now, you can begin to reclaim your cognitive freedom. Turn off non-essential notifications. Curate your feeds intentionally. Choose your information sources carefully. Question your digital impulses. Remember that your attention is precious. Don't let it be harvested without your consent. Your individual choices matter more than you realize. Every person who wakes up to algorithmic manipulation makes the entire system less effective. Every person who demands transparency makes it harder for companies to operate in the shadows. Every person who chooses mindful technology use creates ripples that spread to others. If you have children, you have an even greater responsibility. The digital natives growing up today will inherit whatever system we create or allow to persist. They deserve a future where technology serves their flourishing rather than exploiting their vulnerabilities. Remember that this isn't a problem you solve once and forget. Algorithmic systems are constantly evolving, finding new ways to capture attention and influence behavior. Staying free requires ongoing vigilance, continuous learning, and persistent resistance to manipulation. You don't have to fight this battle alone. Join communities of people who are working to preserve human agency in the digital age. Share knowledge, support each other, and work together to demand better from the companies and institutions that shape our digital environment. This isn't just about technology. It's about the future of human consciousness. It's about whether we'll remain the authors of our own thoughts and choices, or whether we'll become increasingly sophisticated puppets dancing to algorithms designed for profit rather than human flourishing. So here's my challenge to you. For the next week, pay attention to your digital behavior. Notice when you feel compelled to check your phone. Question the content that appears in your feeds. Ask yourself whether your online choices align with your real values and goals. You have more power than you realize. The algorithms may be sophisticated, but they're not omnipotent. They depend on your participation, your data, your attention. When you withdraw those things selectively and strategically, you reclaim your agency. The most important thing I can tell you is this: you are not powerless. The future is not predetermined. The algorithms may have learned to manipulate human behavior, but humans are capable of learning too. We can adapt, resist, and ultimately transcend the systems designed to control us. The question isn't whether algorithms will continue to exist. They will. The question is whether they'll serve us or whether we'll serve them. The answer depends on the choices you make, starting right now. The screen may be dark, but now you can see what lies beyond it. The algorithms are unmasked. The choice is yours. What will you choose? If this video opened your eyes to the invisible forces shaping your digital life, share it with someone who needs to see it. The more people who understand how algorithmic manipulation works, the less power it has over all of us. What's your experience with algorithmic manipulation? Have you noticed patterns in your own digital behavior? What steps will you take to reclaim your cognitive freedom? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden forces that shape our modern world. And hit that notification bell. But remember, you're choosing to be notified, not letting an algorithm decide when to interrupt your day. Until next time, stay vigilant, stay curious, and remember, your mind is your own. Don't let anyone or anything make you forget that. The algorithms may be watching, but now, so are you.